of people already tuned out since who saw that.
So just let go, 'cause he's already there. Just let go, he's already there.
Gonna have to download this from YouTube, upload it to Odyssey or BitChute or something, because I play this music before I start. I'm getting restricted, which is whatever. It is what it is. I'm sure Darren and Brooke Aldridge would not sue me for playing their song "He's Already There," which we'll talk about in part 3. So 3 things today, Thursday. It's 3:00. I gotta head out here in a little bit, but I wanted to speak on a few things that, again, I think are being completely overlooked in our current media maelstrom. Again, I'm David. I'm a former journalist. I was roundly canceled by the Marxist left and evacuated, and came to find myself in the peaceful and very, very based Tulsa, Oklahoma area, which is a lifesaver. It saved my life. There's no doubt about it that if I had stuck around in the leftist hellhole that I had found myself in, I would have probably drunk myself to death by this point. So thank you, Lord, for bringing me and finding a way, opening the doors to allow me to come here. I am currently writing a book called Inventory. And a very good friend of mine, who's one of the smartest people I know, says that he loves it and I have to get it out immediately. So I'm working on it. We're up to chapter 29 to 30. I gotta talk about this in this chapter. I forgot about this. I'll read you a chapter. How about that? Drano. So we're in chapter 28. Every chapter is something that we ran out of that week at the hardware store at the end of the world. They're in the Marxist trap of Boston, Massachusetts, which unfortunately has been taken over by communists, which really is not good for the home of the American Revolution. But chapter 28, Drano. So we're September 15th, 2020, in the middle of the COVID hoax. I feel like, okay, so we've run out all these things week by week. I feel like I need to point out that this is not a poorly run organization by any means. It is not as if we are not anticipating these trends as much as the trends are wildly unpredictable. And as a result, the supply lines flex and starve as we and many other hardware stores around the country are having a banner sales year. And also, my store is small for a hardware store. We typically only need 1 or maybe 2 employees on site, and our stock on the floor is all we have. There's no back room for storage. For example, one thing that we've never had enough stock of, really, this whole entire book, is Drano. With the gyms still closed for some impossibly diluted reason, people have taken to working out in their apartment pods. So South Boston is just surrounded by, it's just swarmed by millennial coders that mostly work. Anyway. The millennials have to keep up their appearance as hookup culture power drives their nightlife. And so typically they're showering at least twice a day, sometimes 3 if they woke up with a stranger covered in puke. And of course, it's not just Drano, but all that comes with it: plungers, drain lids, showering, cleaning supplies. I'm sure if we stocked Pedialyte, we'd sell out of that too. A lot of the chapters end with a little joke. Yeah. So that's Drano. That's a smaller chapter. So we're up to chapter 31, rugs. Yeah. So in October of 2020, we sell out of all of these rugs because the apartments in Southie are selling as soon as they put them online. So rugs are used for staging, stuff like that. But anyway, this is 3 things. This is the 3 things broadcast. Here we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's absolutely beautiful. The birds are going crazy. Plants are coming alive. You know, I found out this the other day that the calendar used to have 13 months and there were 4 weeks of 7 days in each month. And April 1st was not April Fool's Day, but it was Easter, and it was when we celebrated the birth, the rising of Christ, and also the rising of all the things on the plants and all the earth and everything. So that would make more sense. Can we do that instead? We're getting rid of daylight savings. Can we go back to that calendar? Because that calendar makes sense. 3 things. Golf. Yes, golf. Grooming, which is on everybody's mind these days. And the gospel, which it's Easter weekend this weekend. So you figure that's kind of important. So golf. Usually I go to golf. I can only watch golf as all for any of the sports to get away from this crazy world, right? That's gone completely upside down. It's Luciferian, do what thou will, all this stuff, right? But something's happened in golf that no one's talking about. Okay, no one's talking about this. You can look online. No one's talking about this. None of the golf broadcasts are talking about it. None of the golf podcasts are talking about it. I can't find anyone really anywhere talking about this. And it's starting to get out there. I'm starting to see it on Gab and the win boards and all this stuff. So maybe, and I'm trying my best to tell people about this, but so Nelly Korda is the Tiger Woods of is the Tiger Woods of ladies golf. I mean, she was on a roll to just start winning over and over and over and over and over again and become a global superstar and take ladies golf and elevate it to the level that Tiger brought the PGA up to, right? It made it a global enterprise. So Nelly Korda was about to do that because she's tremendously talented. And like Tiger, she's not bad to look at. You know, she's very handsome or pretty or whatever you want to call it. And she's very well spoken. And she's from an athletic family. She got the pedigree. Her sister. She plays with her sister a lot. But her swing is just out of the moon good. And she was really, and there were a couple of tournaments, big first tournament of the year. And she didn't show up. And people are like, where is Nelly? You know, I certainly was, but nobody would talk about it, right? So she posted to her Instagram, which is where everybody communicates nowadays, I guess, that she got a blood clot. Yeah, a blood clot in her left arm. And it extended. I mean, I'm just speculating, but she posted another arm picture of her after surgery, and her whole arm was in a cast. Okay, so, and of course she had gotten the serum, the experimental government serum, from the government that loves you so much, and so clearly this was an injury, right? Clearly she was injured by it. Okay. Because here you have, I mean, you've seen all the videos of all the soccer players falling down, passing out. You've seen the pictures of, you've heard of the stories of the young, football players in high school dying suddenly and all this stuff from blood clots or myocarditis or whatever it is. But here you have probably, I would suggest, perhaps the healthiest woman in the world. I mean, there are certainly more muscular women. There are certainly more faster women or whatever. But Nelly was always in commercials talking about her regiment, and she always posted about how she's always in shape and all this stuff. And, the fact that she would get a blood clot, okay, is totally ridiculous. I mean, it's one thing if you're running on the soccer field and you've got, your heart's exploding or something like that, and you're constantly moving, I can see why that would, but this is a golfer. But she still kept herself in such tremendous shape. But the weird thing is how nobody talks about him. Nobody talks about it. Like, because they can't, because it's so obvious that it's related to this thing. It's so obvious that it's related to that. I mean, left arm, blood clot. I mean, what? Hello? Tremendously fit golfing athlete, and nobody talks about it. Not. I mean, they talk about how she's going to come back and all this stuff, but what if she doesn't? What if she doesn't? I mean, I obviously hope she comes back, because she's I can't even watch ladies golf without her watching her, set the pace and all that stuff. But like, what are they going to do if she doesn't come back? If this sidelines her forever? They're going to have to talk about it, right? They're going to have to talk about it. This is like the Michael Jordan of the LPGA. I mean, she literally is like the superstar. Are they just going to memory hole her? Because they kind of already have, like, in their tournaments, they would have the big open, and it would be like LPGA, blah, blah, blah. And now at the beginning of this, they've taken, it used to be a picture of her and, all the other superstars, but she was predominant in the intro. She's gone from that. What? And like, they just don't even talk about it. It's just so crazy. Anyway, so that's golf. That's what's going on with golf. And then Scotty Scheffler won and thanked Jesus, or proclaimed his faith at the end of that. And that's interesting. And it kind of goes into what we're going to talk about next, which is this totally psychotic exploitation of children that is beyond anything I would have even imagined, simply because this isn't just the elite trafficking children. This isn't like the global sex trade that traffics children, by the millions. This is here in America, and this is like sexual abuse in the home and in the schools. And that's just, I mean, I don't have anything much more to say about it other than it's totally sick, and there's no way we can stop going on offense about this, or it's finished. Everything's finished about the reality we used to know. And I personally liked the reality we used to have. Make it the 90s again. But my dad would say that the crazier that things get, the more desperate the left is to control, to maintain control. Well, this is just the heights of desperation, right? I mean, I saw a post the other day from a message board about this mother who's she forced her son to become a girl, and he doesn't want to take his estrogen pills anymore. So she's taken to crushing his estrogen pills up and putting it in his breakfast cereal. Yeah. And again, I think it's because all the dudes left. I mean, a lot of people say, well, where are the dads in this? Where are the dads? They're gone. They left. I mean, once their wives wanted to change their boys into girls, they probably put up a fight. They might have filed a lawsuit, but as we've seen in many cases, the judicial system is completely in total opposition of traditional masculinity. So they wouldn't have won the case anyway. And so they probably just left, just exited the picture. So now you have these totally crazy mothers that are posting to social media, because again, social media, if I haven't made it clear, destroys femininity, because they're constantly trying to one up each other while at the same time trying to be exactly the same as one another. right? Like they all have to watch the same shows. They all have to have a trans child. I have two transgender children. You know, the Disney executive that says she has a pansexual child. Okay, that means she knows that her, and is encouraging and facilitating her child to have sex with pan everything. Yeah, get rid of Disney, folks. And that includes everything. I saw a meme that's like, well, hey, man, if you say you're going to boycott Disney, well, you need to boycott ESPN too, and you need to boycott ABC, and you need to boycott Hulu, and you need to boycott Marvel, and you need to boycott DC. So good luck with that. And it's, of course, the yes meme says, yeah, I don't watch any of that stuff, you know, because it's true. I don't have any of that stuff personally. I mean, I've long since left comic books behind, but you know, Hulu, like, you know. Now, if you had to have me boycott YouTube, you know, I'd have trouble doing that because that's how I engage with culture. But all these other things are getting there. I mean, BitChute has so many videos on it now. I might be able to go there full time and just watch, you know, my historical documentaries on there. Okay, so yeah, the groomers. The other thing that we need to understand about this groomer thing and the complete sexual perversion of some of these places and some of these poor, unfortunate souls is that the culture is convulsing, right? I mean, we talked about this with the fourth turning. Like I saw someone put it like this: America is like a junkie, and really all modern society is like a junkie, and we need to hit rock bottom before we can get better, you know. So, as I've said, things are going to get much worse, probably for a while, but it's part of the process, right? And there was no further evidence of that this week than the CMT Awards. So I believe they aired Monday night, Country Music Television Awards. If you didn't watch it, a lot of it's on YouTube, and I would encourage you to go to CMT's channel and watch some of it, because that's the culture. That's the future culture right there. That's what culturally they're building. Nashville, home of the Daily Wire, and so forth. You know, it's building from the middle out. As the country just is destroyed from the outside in, it is building from the inside out. I moved here. I mean, is one example out of probably millions of people that, you know, had to come in to find sanity, and we're going to slowly build it out. And the CMT Awards, boy, man, I'll tell you what. I mean, I am a sentimental guy. I can be, and I cried a couple times, like when they sang the song about prayer. It was like basically a gospel song about how we all need to pray. That was really powerful stuff. Then at least 3 times there were couples that sang love songs to one another, you know, like Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani, but now they're Marin, whatever her name is. Marin Morris. She sang on that song, Meet Me in the Middle by Zed, The Middle, Zed, Marin Morris. Very, very famous song, but she's a country star now. I think she was starting to go down the Katy Perry road, and they were about to make her an offer, you know, to become a, you know, baby eating Satanist and gain worldwide fame. And she said, nah, I'm not going to do the satanic pedovore thing. I think I'm going to go to Nashville. So she went to Nashville, and now Marin Morris is like almost as famous as she was with The Middle. And she married her favorite songwriter. And they sang a song on CMT that was fantastic. I would definitely look that up. I Can't Love You Anymore is what it's called. And it's a love song. It's not, the title doesn't indicate it's a song about how much they love each other. I can't love you any more than I do, I think is how it goes. But I can't love you anymore, and that kind of was pretty touching. And then this country music duo who won an award for best well, anyway, where was it? There we go. Let's see. Where was it? Oh yeah, Maddie and Tay. I should know this. They're really famous. They won the award for best duo video, and one of them, Maddie, I think, goes up to accept the award, and she's overwhelmed with emotion, and she constantly references God and thanks God and Jesus for getting them there and all this stuff. And then they bring on Tay, I think, who's Skyped in from her home because she had just had a baby. So she has like this tiny infant newborn in there, right? And it was like totally based, as the kids say, very based. So the whole show was based. There were elements of like ESG, lunatic, climate change, world's ending. At some point, they brought out this CBS morning show host for some reason, and the presenter or the MC actually had to get the crowd to clap. He's like, "Hey, man, clap! The CBS host is here." And like nobody had any idea this person is, because no Zoomer or any CMT host, certainly CMT viewer, watches CBS or anything like that. So that's about and she lectured people. It was like really weird, embarrassing, but otherwise a great show. And building out from the inside out. Here in Oklahoma, they just passed the complete abolition of abortion law. They banned abortion for forever, for any age of the child or whatever. Complete outlaw of abortion here, except in the cases where the mother is in trouble, which is a total fallacy. Like that's when women get pregnant, they build up an immunity and they basically become like a biological tank. I mean, babies don't make women sick. They make them superhuman, right? So the idea that a baby is could kill you is completely ridiculous, and like happens like 4 times a year or something like that. So that's another thing the pro-abortion crowd likes to say is like, it could kill you. Your baby could kill you and we'll have to, no, it's not. It actually makes you incredibly strong and powerful. I mean, you can tell, when we get pregnant women in the store, it's just like, whoa, like somebody walked in, it's like, it turns you into like a superhero. So, and then Tennessee passed a 15-week law or something. The governor vetoed it because he's a total rhino hack, and the legislators overturned his veto. So take that, Tennessee's based. There's a country music song called "I Hope You Are Just Like Your Mama," or the beginning of the song says, "I remember when I first saw you. I remember when I first heard your heartbeat. It was 8 weeks." Like I love that song. It's like, 8 weeks. Oh my. Ooh. Anyway, golf and the gospel. So the gospel. Easter Sunday's this week. Is this Sunday? I can't wait to go home and have ham and cheesy potatoes. I was thinking that the other day. Boy, I was driving around and I just thought of that home-baked ham that my mom makes. And I was like, oh man, almost crashed. Not really. But yeah, so really important day, Easter. Jesus is risen. He's overcome death. You should not fear death. And that's been completely lost on our modern society, of course. Fear of death has overcome everyone. But you shouldn't be afraid of death. He's already been there, he's already there, as the song goes. He's don't worry about tomorrow because he's already there. Don't worry about dying and passing into the eternity because he's already there. He's today is the Last Supper, the day of the Last Supper, and I'll take this. People are probably pretty. I'm going to get flagged for this. Here you go. There you go. Is that any better? It says it's kind of relevant. Memento mori. Always remember you're going to die in Japan, and this says COVID-19, and then in Japanese it says always remember you're going to die, and that's a philosophy of Stoicism, which was really the precursor to Christianity. Stoicism, and Marcus Aurelius is almost kind of like a Christ figure for the Stoics, but there's been a lot of talk about in some circles about how we're getting big pharma involved in every aspect of our life, and most recently that's come with they've decided that grief is now something that you can cure with a pill, right? So you've got a mother, your mother passes away, your best friend dies, your dad dies, or someone very significant in your family's passed away. By the way, there's a show on YouTube called Heartland that's about a horse farm in Canada, in Alberta. Wow, I can't believe it's on YouTube because it's so incredibly based. It's like, but the relevancy is that at the beginning, the mother dies, and it's all about how the family has to come together and survive and make the horse ranch survive and all this stuff. It's just fantastic television. Doesn't get made anymore. It's from like 2008, the good old days, and they all have flip phones, and it's awesome. And half the time they don't work anyway, which is awesome. When I buy a house, it's definitely going to be in a place where I can't get cell phone reception. But grief can't be handled with a pill, anxiety, depression. And we just went through, COVID-19. Everybody's so anxious about dying, and anxiety, take a Xanax, you'll feel better. Take this pill, Soma, Brave New World. People talk about how we're in Brave New World in 1984. It's neither of those books are relevant because we have full-term abortion. Okay, nowhere in 1984 did they talk about how they ripped babies from mothers and dismembered them and then sold their parts. The government did that, and then they're making us pay for it. That's not in 1984. Okay, but yeah, what cures anxiety? Faith. What do you do when your parent dies, passes away? You go to church. You talk to an old person that's dealt with this. You talk to a group of people that's dealt with this. You talk to your pastor who's got the wisdom of the Bible at his fingertips. You don't take a pill. All this stuff, all of this could be cured. All of the ills of society could be cured by the gospel, right? Which is to say that Jesus died, rose again, defeated death, and is waiting for you after you die. If you, play by their rules and do, live a godly life, which is a challenge, everybody will tell you that. No one's going to blow smoke and say, once you make this decision that next thing you know, you're free of all this stuff and you can just walk around. Like, that's not how it works. I mean, life's the struggle, and that's the fun of it. The struggle is life. And if you're not changing, you're not living. So time to change, time to make a change so you can feel better, so you can engage with the world better. And there's no better way to do that than to have faith, put your faith in something. I mean, if you think that when you die, nothing happens to you, again, that also allows you to get away with doing anything, like feeding your baby boy estrogen through his cereal. Okay, that woman has no faith. She thinks that when she dies, nothing's going to happen to her. That she's not going to get a millstone put around her neck and thrown into a lake of fire. And that's too bad. That's too bad for her, and very, very too bad for her child. And, thankfully, I live in a culture, in a society now that would never, ever tolerate that. Because just as I would freak out seeing children masked in where I was living, if I saw a boy dressed as a girl, I'd freak out. I'd totally freak out. Probably just pray. Pray for that child. And, that's the other thing about anxiety and faith is, like, when I'm anxious about something, I'm not all the time. I'm trying to do this more in my life. I pray about it. And that I watched a music video today about this daughter singing about her mother, and how her mother, when she's anxious, she prays. And, God's in control. We know who wins, all that stuff. Like, anxiety goes away when you have faith. There's nothing to be anxious about. I mean, there's challenges, and you've got to accept them, and you've got to work hard, and you got to, there's plenty of stuff you can do. I mean, I used to think, and I still do, that there's nothing to worry about, because if you are worried about something, you do something about it, or you don't. That's it. And then, but if you're anxious about something, just trust that it's going to be okay, because we know who wins. We know who defeated death, and we're very grateful for that as a society. Okay. All right. My stomach's rumbling. I got to go eat something. Have a great day. Good. God bless out there. Go to church at Easter. Go to church this Sunday, and be very happy that Jesus rose from the dead. Thank you. Goodbye.